Divine coming to you from my basement studio here in Brooklyn, New York. And we're going to break down that solo you just heard. It's from a song called Kinfolks in Carolina, and it's kind of a Texas swing, jazzy, bluesy kind of country thing that contains a lot of great chord changes, so you get an opportunity to think outside of just like basic blues changes and blues transitions or rock transitions. And you're certainly not going to be staying in one key in this lesson. This is a great opportunity to kind of think like, over this chord I do this sound, over this chord I do these tonalities or modalities. As we're going to stretch into some of that stuff. Now, hopefully I won't get too stupid and theoretical with you guys. The idea is obviously to make music, not to have a discussion. So while I might see something one way, you might see it or hear it another way. All right, but this is my perspective on this lesson. Okay, so the song's tonal center is at a G major in particular with a 6. So that's going to be like a G chord with an E added. And this is kind of the bread and butter of the Texas swing sound. That and that bouncy kind of, that kind of bouncing sound, okay? And so the opening line takes place over this turnaround. So we're doing, right? And that's just a 1, 6, 2, 5, all major chords, and all with some sort of sauce in terms of an extension. So here I'm doing a 6, this is a dominant 7 chord, another dominant 7, another dominant 7, and then back to G6, okay? So if you're not familiar with these kind of concepts, this lesson is maybe ahead of where you're at for now, but you could always come back and check it out. All right, so the idea of the turnaround is the same as the idea of just playing a 5 chord. The idea is to create tension and entertain the listener, and then bring them back to the home key of G. So the line I do, even though it's taking place over those 1, 2, 3, 4 chords, I'm actually just thinking one key center. I'm thinking dominant. I'm thinking one idea. Like the idea of this is like I'm playing over the 5. So in this case, that's D. And then you can alter that tonality vis-a-vis creating an augmented sound, or that with the flat 2. I went with the slightly more pedestrian and less cosmopolitan augmented sound. So in order to achieve this, I cheat and just basically play an arpeggio over top of those 4 chords that goes like this. It's an approach note from the C sharp into the D. Picking hand is basically just coming down with one upstroke. So there's no real picking magic taking place here. It's just about duration on the notes and making sure they don't run into one another. That's the opening line. And the idea is to get that swing. Okay, so that's the D, F sharp, B flat, pivot and bar to the D. So that's D, E, F sharp. So that is a pick, it's an upstroke, and then a slide afterwards. And that's going, and at that note, once we get to the B, that's the 3rd of our G chord. So that's us making the changes, right? So, all right. Now we come into a sequenced line that's so the idea is we're hearing. That's pretty basic, right? That's just coming down our G6. so those notes are going to be F, it's going to be B flat into B, right? And then G, A, E, G, that's D, E, B, D, and the rhythm is, right? 1, 2. Now, I do some glissandos away. That's, you know, chef's choice. You do whatever you want to do with that, but that's how I handle it. Now this is nice. We go flat 3, 2, open G. That's B flat A, open G. And I harmonize the lick, okay? Kind of a blues thing. And instead of going, I actually fret it, like closed voicing, so I can cut it off. You can't, you know, it's a little clanky like that when you hit the open string. So if I do, that's cool too. I'm 50-50 either way. I'm going to do one of those. All right, we're still over the G chord here. So that's the next line. So that's open D to E. So that's 5, 6, 5, 1. Okay, I can't emphasize enough how important it is as you start thinking in terms of scale degrees rather than frets and fret numbers and string numbers and stuff like that. I mean, it's helpful, tablature and everything like this is really helpful, but that's just not, what if somebody says, yeah, but I don't play this song in G, I play it in A. Then what? Then you're doomed. All right, so we end up with a kind of a bluegrass idea in here. This is definitely something I used to play when I played a lot of acoustic music. So that's da, 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 da. Now we're going to go to the A on the first fret. Right, that's the flat 3 to the 2. Same as just different octaves, right? Okay, so there's a lesser flat G run. Okay. That's like the country bluegrass opening lick that you're going to start with if you go down that rabbit hole. And this is another thing we do a lot in that kind of music is sliding in from one fret below. So not only do I slide in, I hit the same note on an open string. So that's the right hand is. Again, my right hand isn't that terribly athletic. It's more concerned with efficiency and having the accents be where I want them to be. All right, so. Right? That D note is the down note of when we hit the chord as we go. Okay? Now we do a typical. You can do any one of several choices. I think that's what I did. Okay? And now we're on to the B7 chord. That's what's next. All right. Now we're moving to a B7 chord. Whenever we see a 7 chord, or a dominant 7 chord, right? That's what this is, B7. It's saying, oh, I'm going to pull you to another sound, right? Very rarely would that be the last. That doesn't feel resolved, right? That feels like, oh, this is a temporary place that's going to bring me to our next area of melodic development. So over the B7 chord, we got to be thinking, oh, where are we going? And the answer is usually pretty obvious, that if that's the 5 of the new center of the song, which is going to be E minor. So I like to play E harmonic minor lines over that. Or I do what I did in the take, which is I take the 5 chord there, in this case being the B, and I just take the standard arpeggio of 5, 3, 1, 5, 3, 1, and I do this little device. I go, I create a little snake charmer lick like that. So, and then change, okay? But I play it a little faster with some more trills and a little bebop sound. Right? I'm putting a little, you'll see, the right hand downbeat's really accented. So I just played through B, E minor, up to A. Right? So, B, okay, so it's 2nd fret to 3rd fret, 4th fret on the B string to the 5th fret, 4th fret again to the 5th fret, again D string. Okay, then we come up here, that's the 6th fret on the A string to the 7th. So if you just could visualize the B7, I mean the B chord. That's what I'm doing. I'm looking at it very deliberately, seeing those target notes and just doing this little mechanic, before it. And I know what it's going to sound like. I've done it that's like a device, but I know it works nicely, so I do it pretty consistently over that change. The other one I do is something like that. Okay, it's a nice alternative line. And then over the E, I do something very basic in the take that we did there, which I think was, okay, so I took a little pause in there because the line before it was kind of dense, so I tried to lighten it up a little bit, take a breath. That's never a bad thing. So, bum, 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 pause. And then at that point, we're into our A chord. All right, which has a variant on the Lester G flat run. And we'll get to that next. Once we hit that A note, ba-ba-ba-da-bump, that's the downbeat of when the A chord comes in. All right, so with the exception of this passing tone, that's just straight up A7. Ba-da-ba-da-bum, ba-ba-da. It's kind of a cliche line. So that's... Now, what I'm doing isn't nearly as interesting as the fact that it works. I can't believe it, but these gypsy guys, they really had it together. Now, I don't know why this D sharp works so nicely over it, other than tension and release. That's the only thing I can think of. So the device here is over the 5 chord, on the way back to the 1, you take the arpeggio of the dominant chord. That's going to be D, F sharp, C. All right, and wherever you play that, you take this, you play the first note, you go to the 2nd chord tone and go 3 frets up. That happens to be a chord tone. Go to the next chord tone up in the arpeggio and do another minor 3rd. That's all of a sudden, wow, we're kind of hearing a diminished sound. Okay, and then again, the next chord tone is going to be that F sharp, and again with the minor 3, and then another chord tone would be the C, gives us that E flat at the upper extension. So we end up with kind of a very, okay. Okay, and it's very tense, and then it resolves, okay? Now there's going to be some sliding and slurs on the way into those notes, but I kind of like that anyway. And if you look at the right hand, the downbeats are where the downstrokes are usually in my playing. Okay, and that's how we got. Halfway through the D, we have another chunk of space to fill up before we head back to our home key of G6. Okay? Now this line can be played in several places. Depending on what your picking mechanics are, you could start it on this A and go chromatically up to G. Or you can start it here, as I did, I believe. Line starts on A. So we want to have an accent on that note, okay, which is weird. Okay, so. Okay, and now we're going to do one of these nice little things that happens in the key of G. You've got wonderful, like it's deliberate dissonance. Okay, so that's the D note at the 3rd fret on the B string, open E. Okay. So basically by going G, now we've implied that F note over top of our G chord, which has just been pumping away that whole time. And oh boy, does it ever want to resolve to, right? C, okay? So, well, that's just kind of a bluesy, you know, I don't know what I was thinking there, but that's it. All right, and now we're on the C chord. So, okay, it's something where I'm kind of running the G up to and then running the open G opposite. So when you hear, so, then I go chromatically up to, which is going to be the 3rd of our C chord, which we're making the change into. So that's G, 7, C, C, diminish, G, E7, 2, 5, 1. All right, we're almost home, guys. C, that. It's kind of like the raised 4, right? It's a C7 chord, but we're gonna create a diminished sound, all right? Okay. And the arpeggio that I think I nail is I just took a C7 arpeggio, and then as the chord changed to that diminished tone of the C sharp, I think I just went. That's it. And this is similar picking strategy to what we did on the opening lick. So check out the right hand here. It's a one-note approach. There's a lot of downstrokes to create that amount of energy. I'm hitting a couple of them and kind of trying to clank on that voice leading because I know the next note is going to be, okay, which is the 5 of. All right, so. So that is C. Right? So that was. So that chromatic line will be coming up next. All right, now we've managed to make our way through the 4 and the raised 4. So. All right, now this line kind of speaks for itself. This is just taking the G note, the G chord, right? And that's the 5th of the G. And we're going to walk it back chromatically. And this is just an idea where I slide in and then back. I think that's the Parker enclosure. These ideas of like surrounding notes in this descending and then ascending into them thing, that's. So over the E chord, we're falling down on the 5, flat 5, 4, flat 3, up into the natural third. Right? So that I think that's called the Parker enclosure. And this is the same idea. In G. So I just did the Parker enclosure over the G chord, and then the Parker enclosure over the E chord. And then just stab that little chord. Right? Kind of a, just a 7/9 chord, right? Okay, then I'm here, so then I'm going to keep these upper voicings and do like an A13 add 9. Okay, that's going to be the B, the F sharp, the C sharp, and the G all at once with the thumb in the bass. Some guys will do, what do they do? I don't know, you got to learn to use your thumb if you want to be like Uncle Jack here. Alright, so I do that. Same thing, just up at the D chord. So we've gone. That's an A7, D, G. Okay, and this ending part of the solo is largely chord based, so that'll be nice and quick. I'll be back in a minute to wrap that up. Over the A and the D chord, it was just, 13s. And then, here we are, just a big, that's just a G5. Those are Ds and Gs. And then it's, okay, we're playing that. That diminished chord starts on the E, B flat, C sharp, and the G. So we're kind of doing a blues turnaround. G, right? But that third chord we're not going to play. We're gonna do something a little fancy pants there. Okay, so G. Okay, then rather than hitting this, which is kind of like when I see an A and a G together, right? That's kind of functioning as an A7 chord. So I just do an A9, and then rather than doing the 5, so that's the 2, would be that A7, the A9 chord is going to be. I do just a one note slide into the thing. So all in, you've got. Except I botched it. But okay. So these last 3 chords are the same voicing. It's the top 3 strings pressed at the 12th fret. Okay, with that C sharp in it. Then we're going to come back here. Same idea, top 3. Okay, basically it's the upper extensions of an E flat 9 chord to D. Okay, E flat 7/9 to D 7/9. Okay, and then I think I just did. That's it. Thanks for making it through. This is obviously a massive undertaking, but I think you understand now how important it is to understand the chords and what you're playing over if you want to make a cogent and coherent musical statement that seems to relate to what you're playing. If you're playing stuff that's out to lunch and not based on the chord tones that you're playing over top of, it's going to sound a little disconnected. It might work in like an avant-garde setting, but in a traditional idiom like Texas swing or bluegrass or blues, or just your basic garden variety rock music, I think it's crucial to understand what you're playing over top of. So if you're playing G6, you're playing G major notes with lots of E's. All right. If once it changes to a dominant chord, those E's should probably think about turning into F's. All right? So that's just a quick example, all right? I hope you guys got something out of this marathon, and if you didn't, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I can, explain it better next time, all right? Signing off from Brooklyn, New York, this is Jack Devine, and this is not a snack. I suppose this is more like a feast. All right, so making the changes. Hope you got something out of it. Peace.